7 p.m. And let's jump right into the consent agenda. Oh, let me fix my microphone. It's probably not close enough. My apologies. Okay, jumping into the consent agenda item, we have the minutes from the April 6th board meeting, general fund vouchers, and purchasing card transactions, certified and co-curricular staffing recommendations. And we saw Jeff's financial summary ahead of time. I would look for a motion to have that.
I move to approve the items of the I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
And I will second.
All right. Before we take a vote, is there anything anyone wants to pull out for discussion?
Oh, I think I probably, can I
Yeah,
briefly make a statement on our purchasing card
Absolutely.
transactions?
yeah, please do.
So a thank you to Jeff for answering some questions I had about some of our expenses related to technology and iPads. So if those of you who are watching and feel like reading extra, we did purchase additional iPads and, not additional, let me rephrase that. We purchased replacement iPads and cases for K through 5, and that does take into consideration our bulk pricing that we get as a school district and that Jeff has worked for, as well as the reduction, technical reduction, if you will, in the number as we look forward to being really thoughtful with the use of our technology. And one more call out is these are now, I believe, 6 years old, which if you are in the market for a new device, that's really outdated for technology these days, especially for as much wear and tear that we have with our children, who are always so careful with their personal devices. So I just wanted to call that out, that yes, that's an expense, but one that was thoughtfully made in anticipation of future needs. So.
Has that been kind of the standard length of time between the kids' tablets?
6 to 7 years. One of the major pieces that drives us to this is when lots of apps that we use that are very good, they stop developing for older generation iPad software. So when we start to see the glitches, which we started to see last summer, that began the conversation of how would we operate. As Meredith mentioned, going down from 1,200 to 800 for staff and students will have an impact.
So
The resale market's pretty good too.
yes, so there will be, hopefully, with that resale money coming back to offset some of that expense as well. And if those of you who are watching, Jeff was just commenting that the need for new iPads is also because the applications the district uses need up-to-date hardware. So, long story short.
Thank you for summarizing that, since he wasn't on mic. Okay, thank you for calling that out. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries 5-0. As usual, there are personnel items that do not require a vote. So we are moving on to public comments. Do we have any registered for tonight? No? Okay, we do not. Okay, so we are ready for the McFarland High School student report then, and I see we have Anna with us tonight.
Oh,
You're muted,
Anna.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
You just wanted to make sure we were ready to roll.
Paying attention.
Just got taken back to my Zoom days, and when I had to be in school,
COVID.
I'd be
Yep.
muted. Ugh. Okay, let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see it.
We got it.
Perfect. Is it presenting?
Yes.
Yes. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
All right. I kind of have a lot to talk about tonight, so that is exciting. Starting off with our highlights, it is Cancer Awareness Week for Student Council. So we have some dress up days going on. Today we made cards for the UW Health Carbone Cancer Center. We're making them for the patients, but also staff. And then we also have a Teachers in Paradise event where students can donate their money to get their teacher out of class for half the block and get a sub and a movie. So that's always a popular fundraiser for us. And then those proceeds will go to the Carbone Cancer Center as well. So that's going on this week. Last week, our prom court was announced. So MHS juniors voted for their prom court for our prom, which is Mystery Masquerade. I don't know if Dean told you that last time, but and then before the dance, they'll vote again to choose our top 2 royalties. So we have Jaden, Cyan, Brooke, Jacob, Grayson, Caddy, Brody, Dean, who you guys saw last time. He's on prom court, so you'll have to congratulate him next time you see him. Ava and Owen. So that's our junior prom court for this year. Moving on to clubs. For Hope Squad, we attended our first student mental health summit this past Friday at the Monona Terrace. We heard from guest speakers about coping strategies, and we gained some inspiration from students in other mental health clubs around the state. So we got to see what events they do. You can see in the corner here, we each had to make a poster and kind of talk about what challenges we face as a club, but then also the events we do. So that was good to see what other clubs are. Over 60 mental health clubs from around the state. So that was cool to get to talk to some different people from different schools I had never interacted with before. For DECA, they put on their annual Big Little Dance this past weekend for over 300 kids in the community. They raised money for their club and hosted a great event for McFarland families. So they had like a little get ready session before, and then also a dance. And all of our high school leaders dressed up like princesses and princes, so that was fun. Multicultural Club, they shared a cultural meal together to exemplify how universal language of food can bring us together. So each member of their club brought a different item that's important to their culture or their identity, and they shared it together last Wednesday, I believe. For Girl Up, they visited Wabisa to teach 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders about Women in STEM Day, and students got the opportunity to help high school leaders with an experiment. So here are the leaders that went, and then they did a little experiment shown over here. Moving on to performing arts, this week is Shrek, the premiere of Shrek. So they posted this on Instagram, but they were working on their set this past weekend, and I think they're performing Thursday through Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
For athletics, spring sports are in full swing for MHS athletes. So these are our upcoming female competitions. It's a busy week. There's track, softball, soccer, and lacrosse on Tuesday, softball on Thursday, and then track, softball, and soccer on Friday. And then for our boys sports, they've got a golf meet, track meet, and baseball game on Tuesday, golf and baseball on Thursday, and golf and track on Friday. And then just coming up, it's really just getting through our tests, getting excited for summer. Here are the pictures I found on Canva.
So cute.
And that's really all I have today. Are there any questions at all?
I don't have any. Very thorough,
Yeah.
thank you.
And
Thank
I will
you.
say for Shrek the Musical, my neighbor girls came around and they were handing out little slips of paper as a reminder that Shrek, and there was a QR code. It was hilarious. She's like, do you want to go to Shrek? You want to go to Shrek? You want to go to Shrek? When they got off the bus. So, nice use of marketing, using cute little humans to help spread the word.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
2 granddaughters
that
were
probably
very
was
happy
helpful.
with the big dance or whatever it's called. They enjoyed it
Big
very
Little
much.
Dance.
Big Little Dance, yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
such a good idea.
Yeah, it is. Clearly well attended with 300 kids.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you guys so much.
Have
Have
a
a
great
good
rest
rest
of
of your
your
meeting.
Yeah.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
All right. We are on to the parent guardian satisfaction results. Mr. Tarnitzer, you
Yes,
take
thank
it away.
you. Yes. Thank you, board members. You have in front of you the slideshow that I will be sharing, and I will pull it up for the public to see as well. So as you know, annually, we do a survey for our students, our families, parents and guardians, and also we do it for our staff. So right now, actually, the staff survey is underway, but I'm going to share a little bit about the results from our parent guardian satisfaction report. So a reminder, we do use an outside group, School Perceptions, and they collect and analyze the data, and then we receive it and do our own analysis. Part of the reason we do that is there's two main reasons. One is by using an outside consultant, it provides a level of anonymity that people often prefer, and they're more likely to be honest. The other reason is it allows us to compare to other similar-sized school districts that take this survey. So the questions are fairly standardized across districts for that comparison. So the survey was in March, and we had an 18% participation rate. It was 20% last year. I will call that disappointing. It's promoted. They get emails. They get reminder emails. You haven't filled it out. I do know that some households have one person complete it, which impacts the response rate, but we're always looking to increase that response rate. So please keep that in mind. Although in many surveys, like a 20% response rate is pretty typical.
That's pretty tough.
Yeah, it is. It is tough.
I would remind folks that one of the major complaints is a lack of transparency, and these are the kind of results that cause a lack of transparency, a perceived lack of transparency.
Right.
The more people that take it, the better. A little bit about this, just to keep this in mind with this survey, is that it says here, in terms of who took it, it says CPS down here. Isn't that cute? CPS overrepresented. That's our former name of our McFarland Primary School. But you do see this has been a trend ever since we started doing this survey, that our parents with younger learners tend to complete the survey at a higher rate than our parents with older learners. So keep that in mind in the results. And the grade levels, 12th grade is really underrepresented here. Parents of students in 12th grade. In terms of services that they receive, advanced learners are overrepresented, so that's a higher percentage than we have in our student population, and then those who receive free or reduced price lunch are underrepresented fairly significantly. So that just a population, there's only so much we can do to get people to take it. And then when you look at racial identity, those who identify as having more than one race are underrepresented. Considerations, it's our fourth year doing the survey. You want to look at those who strongly agree or agree. That's the easiest way to compare over time. We also do a comparison with similar sized districts. One of the things I'll say is that small changes in the percent that agree can have a significant increase or decrease in your comparison. So I would proceed with a little bit of caution. I tend to like to focus on the ones that are positive, but that's probably not fair to do. They're all actually quite positive. And then, reminder, this is combined district data. So the building levels have different scores, and they analyze those on their own, as well as building leadership teams. Overall, nearly all scores increased and are relatively high to the scale in comparison districts. So that is something that continues to be a strength based on those that responded. It indicates that the things that we've been doing are having an impact, a positive impact, including regarding student behavior, bullying, communication. Those things should be continued, and just refined. I would say the area of greatest growth, as we'll hear, is about bullying and addressing those needs. Overall strengths, there's the indices that are referenced in the survey, which combine multiple questions. 4 of the 5 of those increased, with all above a 4 on a 5-point scale. So very high scores, and 84th to 87th percentile compared to other districts. So strong, with 80% agreeing or strongly agreeing on every question. So very positive.
Very positive.
A nice one that I think a good indicator of how we're doing as a district is when parents are asked how likely they would be to recommend their child's school to a friend or family member, that number increased and continues to be high at a 8.31 on the 83rd percentile. When you get into specific areas, there's many numbers here. I try to make it as digestible as I can for you. But the overall strengths, first of all, with climate, your parents feeling that their child's treated with dignity and respect, parents feeling that their child's safe at school, they feel welcome in their child's school, there's a healthy culture in their child's school. And comments, there were 120 comments praising the high quality and caring teachers and staff, and about 95 comments about the positive, safe, and inclusive school culture. So that is a really strong indicator of our school climate. And to have 95% of parents agree or strongly agree that their child feels safe at school, as you know, I'm gonna say we want it to be 100%, but 95% is pretty nice. Parent-guardian involvement, parents feeling that they know how to support their child's learning, that they feel comfortable contacting staff, that there's opportunities for involvement, and that's something we've really been focusing on, and you see that had a small increase, and that they have opportunities to provide feedback, a nice increase there. So those are great indicators of overall strengths. Discipline, something we're always paying attention to. 94% agreeing that their child, if they break a rule, they're treated fairly. Nice indicator there. That they get help that they need with 93%. Communication, something that we often talk about in the survey, and I have to say, continue to have really strong results with some areas that we can improve, I'll talk about in a little bit, but feeling they're updated on their child's performance at the 96th percentile, that communication's timely and transparent, that they would rate the 89% rate school communications as either great or good, and that's in the 95th percentile. So about 80 comments about strong communication and accessibility. Certainly room for growth, but that is something that in the course of the 4 years we've been doing the survey, we've seen tremendous growth. And as always, the highest indicator is about our facilities being clean and well kept. I had a meeting today at Verona Area High School. If you haven't been there, that is a beautiful facility. Was walking in there and we were talking about how nice it is, and just a reminder how great our school facilities are, and they're nowhere near as new. So they're very well maintained. Another strength in terms of learning, 93% agreeing that they are satisfied with how much their child is learning. Ooh, little typo there. This year. I don't know what that is. This is a really interesting one. 92% agree that class materials reflect their family's cultural background. So that's in the 94th percentile. So that's something we've been working on, as you know, as a district, a very strong indicator. High expectations, 91% feel there's high expectations. Couple of other areas to note: emotional challenges, feeling that their child is able to handle emotional challenges. District administration, there's something positive there. We'll skip over that, but we're going to focus on the board. 90% agree, strongly agree, the school board is doing what it takes to make our district successful. That is an increase of 2%. That is in the 88th percentile. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop.
So that's impressive.
Go us.
That's impressive. So,
I got high expectations for next year. I'm just kidding.
congratulations. What will we do?
Spoiler alert. I think it was interesting in that when we get to it later, when they talk about how they want to receive their information.
Yeah.
It was only 4% want to receive it from board meetings.
Yeah. And that 4%,
Glad you trust us.
we see you.
That's right.
We see you.
We do, literally.
I think they're here tonight, actually.
There, yeah. So overall growth areas, we are not perfect. Bullying it continues to be an area of growth. I would like to find the school where it's not, but that's not to negate our responsibility. 83% say that they're satisfied with efforts to address bullying. It is our lowest average score, had a decrease of 1%, but is in the 90th percentile. So kind of some mixed results there, but it comes up in the comments quite a bit. Some people feeling like there's a need to be more effective and consistent in consequences. And this one thing I wanted to note, as the administrative team reviewed these results, we compared it with the student survey, which actually had an increase in 2.5% in students agreeing that students treat them with respect. So it's interesting, a little bit different perception between students and their parents. Increase of 2%, 1.8% of those that agree that if they're bullied, they would feel comfortable talking to someone. So we're seeing some kind of positive results with our students and kind of mixed results with our families. But really this is our third year of implementing the revised response to bullying prevention and intervention. So, this used to be at a 75% agreeing that they're satisfied, and now we're at 83%, so we're showing progress.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's still more work to do. When the administrative team met and talked about this, we said, one of the things we could do a better job is about letting families know how we handle these situations, what we're doing, because sometimes you just don't know. I think sometimes those people that have been involved in something feel like it's handled fairly well, but you don't know what's being done unless it involves your child. The other thing is about educating families about some things that they could do to help. What is bullying, what it is not, and how they could help. Much of what happens, especially in the secondary level, starts outside of school through social media. So there's certainly some things that we could partner with parents on. But we are continuing to look at making sure we're more consistent in how we respond to bullying. That will be a never-ending project.
That's always going to be difficult
Yep.
when, especially with parents whose students have been bullied.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be very
It's hard.
difficult to satisfy, understandably, to any real degree.
It really is. It really is, and it is concerning and something that we don't, we acknowledge our role and that we have work to do. I do mention communications. I know that the scores were very high, but there were, 74 comments about streamlining the communication. Here's the thing. Some people want it all on one platform, and some people want it on various platforms, and that's okay. And so we feel like we get a little nervous because we think, well, if we respond to some people in their comments, then the other people are going to come up the next year. So our real response is we need to be more concise in our communications, probably this presentation included, and reducing repetitive communications. We often will repeat things over and over. So either don't repeat them or put them in a separate section that's just like, here's reminders, so that when you are busy and you get a lot of communication from us, you can quickly scroll through what's most important.
Yeah, it was interesting reading. Those are the only comments I've gone through so far as the communication ones. And I wondered if it's not only related to our district, but overall
Yeah.
communication overload. And then we're the ones asking, and so, they answer that they want less, which
Right.
is understandable. But yeah, everyone's needs are that's what really comes out in the comments, is that the needs for communications are so individualistic.
They really
So,
are.
Yeah.
Well, and to that point, I'd be curious to know if we would have received more responses to the survey if they weren't so predisposed to getting so many emails that they kind of glossed over the survey email, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
That does make sense.
Totally.
I thought it was interesting along those lines that the response rate was higher, like the communication, like I prefer, was it
Email.
email
sometimes.
communication? And that's how
Yeah.
you learn
Yeah.
about it, and that's like, well, you
Right.
reply because that's how you
Mhm.
take the information. But I thought one of the comments, and I agree, I haven't had a chance to go through all 85 pages of them, is that the communication is great, it is a lot, but a few of the words was, don't really see a way around it. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it, is that you make one change that some people like and some people don't. It's just
Right.
everyone's a different type of learner, so.
Yep, we'd rather over-communicate than under-communicate, but we
Yep.
could be more concise and streamline things a little bit. So we've got plans to do that. Reminder, the index, they combine different areas. So you see it here, informed, included, educational excellence, atmosphere, and experience. So those are the areas. I mentioned that 4 out of the 5 increase. The one decreased by 0.2%. So I think we call that a toss-up.
Yeah.
But you can see the comparisons are very nice, and this all over for a 4 on these. So real strong.
Yeah.
Here, I mentioned this one to you before. How likely would you be to recommend it, the district? So some really positive results there. This starts to get a little bit redundant. As you know, with the student survey, I like to pull out a summary for you right away and give you the big stuff in case I lose you in this part. So I'll try to go through these fairly quickly. You see the highest scores. I mentioned that, clean and well-kept being the highest, the most improvement, which I think is really where you focus on, and that families, the materials reflecting your family's cultural and racial backgrounds being a strength, and again, the school board doing what it takes to make our district successful.
Can
The
I-
least, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I say one thing about the cultural and racial background
Yeah.
thing? And I don't want to
Negate.
negate, thank you, negate the positive aspect of it. But I wonder what, we recognized in the beginning that the demographics of the response rate that are non-white respondents are underrepresented. And so I wonder how that would impact this, this statistic. So I think it's great. And like with this response rate, like that's just something to think about. Because and like you always say, there's always room for improvement, but.
And we do have the ability to disaggregate the data by race, so that is something I could do for, it's somewhat time-consuming, but we could do that for that question.
Yeah, I'd also be interested.
'Cause
Would it apply for the free and reduced lunch? Probably not as much, but that might be
I
interesting.
don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd be interested,
question,
curious
yeah.
about that.
All right.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you for letting me interrupt.
No, that's great. And the 5 items with the least improvement with, this is done, so the bottom one is the least improvement there, with the 1%. Lowest scores, you see that. Again, that's just a little bit redundant. The 3.88 is the bullying, so you see that in the drop. So that's why we called out that area as an area of growth. I'm going to go through item analysis fairly quickly just because I pulled these things out. This is that communications. How would you rate the communications? So a nice score there. That's something that we're really proud of. Reminder, we didn't used to have weekly s'mores, and that has really made a difference. This is the one that Meredith was referencing earlier. How would you like to receive school information? 94% want emails. 94% want more email. That's what I heard. No, that's not what they said. They said,
But
if we're
also-
gonna communicate.
Can we call out the 1% who wants radio?
Yeah.
That's
I love
amazing.
that. The radio listeners.
Yes.
I do think the text notification is interesting. We're very hesitant, maybe I should say, I'm very hesitant to use texting to communicate with families. I just want to save it for emergencies. Like when there's a weather closure, when, I feel like
That's true.
we just had oversaturated. We are looking at how we could better use our school app.
Yeah.
That could queue up notifications. You know, you have 20% say that, so that's not, you know, too bad, but.
And I think we also have to think about texting is not free.
Oh,
So
for people, yeah.
that is not, like, from a district standpoint, as well as having phone
The recipient,
capability to
yeah.
do so. So I think it's the sender and receiver. There's a cost associated with that. So I would say I tend to probably, without any additional really thoughtful, dedicated time, I would tend to agree of saving those for, just from a financial standpoint.
Sure.
You
Well,
know,
and I
it-
think, go ahead, Craig.
What we found is those community members that are most difficult to reach, regardless of the reason, one of the choices we've made in the past is mailers. They're not free either.
They're
No.
very
They're not.
expensive.
Yep.
No.
They may be effective. I'm not so sure that they improve that percentage very much.
Yeah.
But again, it's, you know, when you're in the financial straits that most public school districts are these days, that's a tough call.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
So getting into the leadership and communication, we've talked with those. I like the district is headed in the right direction. I haven't really talked about that one too much, but 88% agreeing, a nice indicator there. School experience, we've talked about these areas at length, providing feedback, clean, well-kept, updated on how your child's doing, school communications timely, transparent. There's the bullying one, you can see that on there. You know, supporting your child's learning, you've heard all of these already. The parent-guardian involvement is something we've really been trying to focus on, providing opportunities, and that's just a nice indicator with 89% feeling like there's opportunities. School culture, emotional challenges. The most days my child enjoys going to school. I just feel, I don't know, the student one is much lower. It's like 6, like on a 1 to 10 scale, it's like a 6 or something on there, so they have a different rating, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, I want all kids to enjoy going to school most days, but it's, you know, that's kind of going to school a little bit. That is part of the game. Child feeling safe, I mentioned that's one we really focus on, having staff that they feel comfortable with. Participating in co-curricular activities, a nice percentage there. School-sponsored sports or extracurricular activities continues to be high, and access to reliable internet. So that's good to know. So that is what we have. Any other questions or comments?
We kind of nice to look at it longitudinally, in other words, is this 4th year?
4th year for
Yeah.
this one, yeah.
Yeah, it might be interesting if 5 years and then 10 years as we kind of do that, just really see how.
Oh, yeah,
things are
do like
changing.
a
Yeah,
5-year.
yeah, do like bigger chunks.
Right, I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing
I
we
like
can do about
that,
that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Next year, we could do a, 5-year
That's
I would like to
comparison.
see
not a
that.
bad idea.
Because some of our strategic plan goals were really tied to this.
That's a really
Yes.
good point.
And
Yeah.
like especially communications, that was one of the first things we focused on. And so to see how that has changed over the 5 years would be really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce.
Yeah,
Great idea.
No, you hit on all my comments during the thing. So.
I will
don't
say,
know.
one of my favorite comments from the expansive comments
There's a lot.
was
Thank you for them.
regarding what are some good things that the schools are doing. And someone wrote, toxic positivity, I love it. I was like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they might have been being sarcastic.
I'll
Let's just
take
go
out the
with it.
toxic And I love the positivity.
Yep, yep.
Yes.
What exactly is toxic
So toxic
Sickening sweet.
positivity,
positivity?
would you like to know what toxic?
Sure.
Yeah, we
So
do.
toxic positivity is when people pretend like everything is okay and ignore that it's not.
Oh.
So it's sort
Mm-hmm.
of like, oh, no, but everything's great, and I know that my house is on fire, but I'm fine sitting on the couch, kind of
It provides a
idea.
lot of heat. That
Yeah.
would be an example.
But, yeah,
I've got
it's-
great insurance.
it's
It's
just-
fine.
Right, yeah.
But what I always say when someone accuses me of being toxically positive, which has happened, I say, it's a lot better than toxic negativity.
Yes.
True story,
So,
yeah.
if you have to pick
To your
one.
point.
Good answer.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a way to be realistic, but also positive and
Mhm.
optimistic.
Yep,
Just,
agree.
you don't want to ignore reality, right?
Mm-hmm, it's true.
Hope that makes sense to you.
Healthy
Good question.
negativity. Interesting.
Oh, healthy negativity, yeah.
Yeah.
What did he say? Healthy negativity.
Or
Oh,
as,
healthy.
Instead of being a Debbie
healthy-
Downer, I can be healthily negative.
Healthy cynicism? I don't know.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Um,
Constructive criticism.
Construction, yeah.
All right.
All right. Any other questions on that?
I can only comment that I think every early September school board meeting for the last 15 years, the way these facilities look on opening day is unbelievable.
Yep, it's
I-
true.
I can't blow the custodians and the buildings and ground guys' horn loud enough. Every year. And I'm sure it hasn't been the same people every year.
And they're the only ones with the 99%.
Take that back to your folks, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only other comment is to Craig's point, thank you to each and every person who contributes to this district, because having satisfied students and having satisfied parents and guardians is really amazing. Like, that doesn't happen everywhere. So, thank you, staff, everyone, administration, students.
Broomstick and a tennis ball. They still do it.
All right. when
Oh,
you have-
yeah, right.
That's how
the
they clean up
cleanup.
the scuff marks on
That's
the
right.
floor.
Oh,
so-
They
That's
walk
right.
around with a tennis ball on the end of a broomstick.
the more you know.
Then why
I
was
think-
my jaw almost.
And I
hit
had like the
phone.
NBC, like the star. Remember how they used to do that? Like, the more you know.
That's right, exactly.
I think when you have 120 comments about our caring and talented teachers out of 400 and some people that filled out the survey, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That is good.
agreed.
Taking the time to put a comment
Yeah,
in.
that's nice.
Yep, exactly. All
All right.
right, thank you. Next, we have our legislative update. Ms. Chapman.
Well, this is going to be super exciting because there is no update.
Okay.
Just to kind of fill you in on what was pending and is still currently pending, the legislature went through state surplus and school funding negotiations, and the result was there were no new K through 12 funding changes. The student cell phone policy, which would require districts to restrict cell phone use during instructional time. There still has been no final legislative action on that. In February, a coalition of parents, educators, advocacy groups, and school district filed a lawsuit challenging Wisconsin's school funding system. The lawsuit has been filed, but nothing has come of that yet. And that's what I got for you.
Thank you.
Feel free to advocate for increasing, the focus is really on increasing special education
ed.
funding. So just a reminder, you can still do that. Contact your legislator.
Yep. Perfect. Thank you. Business and Education Partnership Meeting Update.
Well,
Chapman and Tornitzer.
there really wasn't a business and education partnership meeting.
Okay.
They decided to recognize various students that were nominated by local businesses that they worked for. Unfortunately, due to a work conflict, I was unable to attend, and I believe
I was at a
Aaron-
conference.
He was out of a
Oh,
conference. So
Okay.
I'm sure it went great, though.
It did.
Yeah.
It did, yeah. So they recognized multiple students for the Student Excellence Award. I know because I saw it on social media.
That's what I,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you
that's what
saw
I-
that too.
Yeah, I did.
So that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was neat because they went around to different classrooms and surprised the students with their employer and their family.
Nice.
It's just a really neat,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm making
Yep.
connections, okay.
Yep.
I think, sorry.
Yep.
Slow on the uptake.
Yeah, it's great. That's something that's new in the last 2 years? Is that
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
yes.
Okay.
And what they normally do is they would do one every month,
Yeah.
and they would recognize them at lunch.
Mhm.
But a lot of these kids are either in youth apprenticeships or on work release, and so sometimes, majority of the time, they're not at lunch. So,
Right.
Right.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Okay, next is,
I'll save your voice, Greater Dane County School Governance Consortium Meeting Update. So, I'm gonna read what I wrote in hopes that I'm concise.
Thank you.
So, on, was it last Wednesday before? Megan and I had a chance to attend, Pessler and I had a chance to attend that big, long acronym. And it was hosted in Oregon at their Innovation Center, which another plug off of Craig's comment is, I believe that Innovation Center has a more recent date than some of our facilities, but I think our facilities look, if not better, definitely on par. So,
Yep.
but it was beautiful, et cetera. Okay, focus. The focus was primarily on how we continue to do the work from the consortium's mission, which was really helpful for me because I think it was the second meeting I attended with the consortium, and so we got to review what the group had done over the past year. So a nice reminder of their mission being the purpose of this consortium is to ensure all our students receive the highest quality education possible. And while we acknowledge the uniqueness of each of our districts, we share many of the same challenges and aspirations. We'll leverage our collective knowledge and expertise to focus on 3 priorities. And those 3 priorities, which I'll read in just a second, is really what drove our conversation. The first is eliminate academic, social, and emotional gaps for our students. The second is advanced best governance practices. And the third is to advocate for our public schools at the local, state, and federal levels. So keeping those kind of 3 priorities in mind, we had a group polling conversation or discussion on 3 different subcommittees that this consortium could form so that we continue to move our mission forward. The first one was agenda planning. The second one was public relations. The third one was legislative advocacy, and the fourth was like at-large, kind of mission critical. What other things do we see outside of those other 3? So good, bad, or ugly, I volunteered to help assist with agenda planning. So more to come, but also trying to keep in mind that all of the districts and representatives are school board members, administrators. Some of them are staff, that we all leverage each other's collective power, understanding, but then are also mindful of the capacity that each of us have. So more to come on what that group will turn into. And then our final portion of the agenda was listening to and discussing a highly informative presentation by the Green Bay Area Public Schools and the Wisconsin Public Education Network on passing a resolution for transparency on our tax bills, for how the district tax levy is used not only for public schools but for private voucher schools. And so the goal with their presentation and resolution was to outline the work effort they undertook to update their municipal tax bill, which was no small feat, to be more transparent and accountable to our taxpayers in exactly where that entire tax levy goes. So as that reminder, there is a portion of our tax levy that does not actually come to our district, and that was roughly about $230,000. So that was it in maybe a little bit longer nutshell than I anticipated, but I don't know if you have anything else to add, Megan, or?
no, that was a great summary. There's a couple of things that I would add in terms of, since I serve as alternate, I haven't been to as many recently, and I think what was really nice is to see them after like 1 to 2 years of being in existence, that they're moving into this more action-oriented phase, creating committees and, kind of understanding the needs of the group. And with the tax transparency portion of it, I think that's probably going to be the first thing that the legislative advocacy group or committee works on, and I volunteered for that. And, you know, Erin and I have done a little bit of work with the village to explore that. And regardless of what happens with the actual tax bill, we are going to work with the village on inserting some information about that, which is much easier to do on a district level. Because it's really, the tax bills for most of Dane County use a template from Dane County. So as school districts, I think we're really going to need to work together in Dane County if we want anything actually changed on the tax bill. So good information to learn as we figure out our next steps.
And that was my question. So that's how they did it in Green Bay? They did it countywide kind of thing?
They're going municipality by municipality for every,
Yeah.
because they have a huge,
I
their
know.
real estate is large
Yeah.
and distant. So they've started I think they started with Green Bay.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to, they went big and then going through the other small additional municipalities.
Because that has to
so.
be a real goal of the school districts. I mean, they,
Yeah.
across the state, we have to start telling our taxpayers, you know, what percentage of your taxes are going to these voucher and private schools.
Yeah, and there were a couple of districts that are already moving in that direction with their, like, actively working on getting the resolution at the school board level first.
But again,
Mount
it's
Horeb is
always
one.
each municipality doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
But it also, like, I was encouraged because there was interest in other districts in Dane County, and it felt like, ooh, like if we have this,
yeah.
if we all are in agreement on this accountability and
Yes.
transparency, that's amazing, and that we can kind of use that wave of interest. And I also thought it was interesting that, or not interesting, but value add, that we have such a good relationship with the village. That it was apparent in what Green Bay's work was and their work effort, that key collaboration is what made them successful. So
That's cool.
it makes me very appreciative that we have a good relationship with the village.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks to both of you for doing that, going to that. That's really,
Yeah, I've just got one kind of offhand. For the time I spent attending these, I found it really interesting that you can go from a school district the size of Madison to a school district the size of Wisconsin Heights or Belleville. And what you find is that, maybe to different degrees, but we all have the same struggles.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing how hard this is to address in a small school district, it's hard for me to fathom, you know, how a school district with whatever, 20,000 can do the same work.
Right.
Or you go from 4 schools to 100, you know, whatever is in the Madison district.
Right.
So at least in my case, I grew to appreciate the work that the people uptown do.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah,
So more to come.
that's right. Anything else on that one? All right, we've got the Wisconsin Virtual Academies retreat update.
Yeah, so I was
Aaron.
able to attend their board retreat event. It was great. It was on April 10th. And they had each department and building do a presentation with some updates. So I'm just gonna share some of the highlights from that meeting. Obviously, they're focusing on growth. Enrollment continues to increase, but they're also looking at engagement while kids are enrolled and, of course, their graduation progress, which they feel has been successful due to their onboarding, the personalized learning that they're focusing on, project-based learning. They're looking to expand their CTE partnerships, connections to brick and mortar schools. So something we spent a long time talking about is how, with declining enrollment in school districts, how they could provide virtual learning opportunities for courses that they're not able to provide in a brick and mortar due to staffing and financial issues. So that I think will be an area of focus, the à la carte sort of idea of part-time enrollment. And just how to stay innovative and creative. One of the things that's interesting is that continue to see an increase in the percent of their students identified with a disability. It's currently 25% of their enrollment, which, you know, most districts, it's typically like 14 to 15%. So it's significantly above the enrollment that you see in other districts. They continue to have strong staff retention, 87%, so doing well there. They have divided, just a reminder, that they're the Wisconsin Virtual Academy Elementary, Middle, and High School, so the WEVA schools. But there's also Insight, so a reminder, those are the students that are the most credit deficient, and that's Insight High School there, and they continue to see progress there. And the biggest growth has been at the Destinations Career Academy High School. They continue to see amazing growth from, in the last 5 years, they've gone from 290 students to 1,562. So they have partnerships with 6 CISAs and many pathways, construction and engineering being the largest career pathway. And we talked at length about the legislative context. And, you know, one of the things that they probably got tired of me hearing, probably got tired of hearing me say this, but when we talk about legislative advocacy, there's a real difference to just say, like, we want parents to have a choice in their child's education. A reminder that the Wisconsin Virtual Academies are a public school. They are beholden to the same expectations that we are, the same curriculum that we are. They have all those same expectations. They are a public school. It is just their virtual public school. So when you're talking about options, it is very different than the private school options that we were just talking about earlier. So that was something I think they can use to sort of acknowledge and separate themselves from some of the other private and voucher schools, and also to show, look, we can, but based on our structure, provide a virtual learning option when you can't hire a French teacher, or you can't hire, you can't meet this need for your students, and you don't, there's no way that you can, you know, get enough kids to take Chinese, Mandarin, you know. So, anyway, so it was a great day, learned a lot, and continue to be impressed with the things that they're doing there with well over 5,000 kids.
Wow. That's awesome.
Do they anticipate increased enrollment going forward?
Yes, they are not forecasting a decrease.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, they've only grown since the pandemic, right?
Yes.
Probably double.
Yeah.
They had a huge spike with the pandemic, and they were able to keep a higher percentage of that than I think many people expected due to
Virtual
the
school
quality
is-
of their programming.
Virtual
Yeah.
school is hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it requires so much parental input to succeed.
Right.
It's just hard.
Yeah. But for some, it's easier than it was brick and mortar, so we're lucky to have that option too. Okay, any other comments, discussion? Thank you. Okay, school safety written drill evaluation notification and review. We got 3 this time. It was an active April.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, they are called the drills, and sometimes they're less drilly and more actual. But you did have, all 3 of them were holds, just at 3 different buildings. So, you know, what we try to do with the holds is to protect the privacy of the staff and students that are impacted, whether it's a medical issue, or sometimes students are in crisis, and by closing down a part of the building, that provides that safety, so you can see those reports there.
Yep.
I think in reviewing those, 2 quick comments. One, thank you to the staff involved and administrators involved in these holds. It's not easy. And then two, the speed at which you address the issue, getting to its core, and finding resolution is impressive.
Very
And
impressive.
all while maintaining safety and privacy and discretion is just astounding. So the way you all communicate effectively during the moment with front office staff and others, job well done. So it's very impressive.
And when you think
True.
about it, most of the kids in that school have no idea
no
this even
idea.
this took
Exactly.
place. It's
Yeah.
just,
Right.
it's incredible.
I also
Yeah.
appreciated all the detail
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
reports.
Yeah.
Because over the course of the
Yeah.
school year, we've seen quite a few of these. And granted, we don't need to see all the details, but I think it's really good for them to document everything
Well, they have
and
to.
use every situation as a learning going forward.
Got it.
Good point.
Yep, yeah. And, I mean, they often cover, it's like 3 to 5 minutes, if that.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
which is, I mean, to your point, you
Yeah.
know?
It's incredible.
Yeah, and then the detail this time that we got on one of them highlighted some other teachers who went above and beyond to protect privacy, you know, so like quick thinking in the moment, how else do we get
There
the
was.
student more privacy, you know?
Right. There
So
was
Yeah.
just
that was-
amazing quick thinking.
That would be our staff.
it is our
Mhm.
staff,
It's
yes.
incredible.
Not surprised, but still
Amazed.
amazed. Yeah. All right. Okay, we're on to some of our discussion items. Annual board development tool results. We get to talk about ourselves for a little bit.
Yes, so this will be a bit redundant for the board. So you discussed this at length in your board work session, but we wanted to, in an effort to be completely transparent, to share with the public the review. So annually, the school board completes an analysis of their performance using a tool developed by the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. And we're able to compare the results from previous scores. We start off with the areas of growth, and there's really two areas that were highlighted in that work. The first thing is just making sure that we facilitate leadership succession in key administrative positions. Despite what some may think, we are quite a lean district office, which means that we become dependent upon a few people. And so just being prepared for future changes so that we're not overly reliant on any one or two people. So that's an area that you said that's something the board can continue to work on. And also making sure that when you make budget decisions, that they're done so based on student achievement priorities. So those were two areas that we discussed as being areas of growth. And then we discussed many areas of strength. And so I'm not going to go through all of this, but just to give the public a sense of some of the things we talked about. You talked about data-driven decision-making as a first area, and these charts just show the degree to which the five of you said something was achieved. And so it depends if you're a glass half full or glass half empty. You're really looking for purples and greens. And then when you get to yellows and reds, those are the areas of focus. So in this one, you can see this is where we're talking about, reviewing data, program performance, comparing ourselves to other districts. This is a real achievement focus. How many kids are participating in different programming, being data-driven, curriculum development process. That's that area. So a lot of strengths there. And then moving on, the next one, board operations. This, you can see all the purple. That's a good indicator of the strengths. And that's about you're assessing yourself, you're evaluating me, the way that you're working together. You have discussions. You are prepared for board meetings and follow the rules, open meetings laws, have efficient and effective board meetings. So that's a real area of strength that you identified. And the culture is really just how you work together more than the logistics of it, is being respectful, and you can see some strong areas here. Not letting differences of opinion degenerate into personality conflicts, and that's not the case on all boards. Having high expectations for yourselves and others. An area that you've focused on and working on is recognizing students, teachers, and schools, so that's been a real area of focus, continues to be a priority to all of you. Moving on to planning, this is really about looking at ways to share services with others, reviewing our needs, and some of the non-instructional support services. So it felt like that was still an area of strength, maybe some areas of growth in there. And talked about budgeting. That's an area where I think you feel like you've had some nice growth, understanding the financial statements, the principles of school finance. This board has unfortunately had to become very adept at explaining it to others. So appreciate that.
My favorite topic went out about.
Right? Making sure the district is a good financial steward. District operations focuses on, gathering feedback, how you communicate out with the public and especially the staff. And community engagement. This is, look at these nice scores and really nice increases about making sure the legislative advocacy process is being advocating, doing what you can, talking about legislative issues through Megan's leadership, partnerships with businesses, parent and community expectations. So this is one I would say in all of the work that you have made a priority, these scores over the past few years have gone up significantly. So it's something to be very proud of. Policy continues to be an area of strength. You feel like you reviewing, revising policies to meet student needs, being very strong. And vision, having a vision clear on what it is, communicating it to others, student achievement being a priority. So you all took it very seriously, and I think the results indicate that taking the time to reflect and to identify areas of growth has resulted in change. So a lot to be proud of. Anything you would add as I'm just sitting here talking to you about your own self-reflection?
I would have a question, probably for Megan. One of the areas for growth is to invite legislators in to see us. You know,
So
come-
we've had various legislators come and see us. And Aaron and I were actually talking about how Stoughton High School did Legislative Day. I have reached out to a legislator regarding their feedback. I have not heard back. But she's one very, very busy lady, so I will give
That's
her
what I
another
was
shout
gonna
tomorrow.
ask. Do you feel like they feel obligated to do it, or
I
are
don't
they
think-
anxious to do it?
I don't think they feel obligated. I think it's a strength and a weakness, given where we live, is that we already have really strong support for public education funding within Dane County. And so, and I'm merely speculating, but as a politician, if you already know you're in support of it, you're probably gonna exercise your time to focus on areas that might need a little bit more support. That being said, especially from a community perspective, to have our community members know that our legislators are involved with our district and having them be visible here, I think is really strong. But I mean, as you look at the state overall, there are so many areas that don't have the public education funding support from their legislators. And so it's kind of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg
Yeah.
kind of situation, you know?
That's a good point.
The new governor will be interesting, too.
Yes.
There will be a new governor, yeah?
Yep.
How much
Yes.
emphasis they put on public education.
Well, I
I'm-
mean,
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I think all of the candidates are already showing a very strong consideration for public education funding. But the big situation is it's the entire legislative piece
Yeah.
of the state. Because you have the Senate and the Assembly who have to agree on what the governor's budget is. And as we've seen, our current governor put in place his suggestions on what to do with the $2.5 billion surplus. And due to how the Senate and the Assembly majority-minority rules, they could not come to a consensus, and they had different ideas on how to, fund public education. Republicans wanted to do it, via tax rebates and things like that, and ultimately, no one could come to a general agreement, and this is where we're at.
I would say, this is my 4th year as superintendent. I don't know what it was like before, but I think it's pretty impressive that I know all of our local legislators, that I have seen them multiple times. They've held community sessions that we have attended. They're very visible and engaged. I have talked to them on the phone. I know I could reach out to them. They would see me and know who I am. Those are things, I don't know if previously that was the case. They are very, very visible and engaged with our district.
Well, our district has hosted, the state superintendent
We have.
a couple of times.
Yeah, I was gonna say twice at least.
I think that's a feather in our cap as well.
And I mean, I would also be curious to know what other districts throughout the state, what kind of relationship they have with their legislators.
Yeah.
To Aaron's point, you have not only a professional relationship, but a personal relationship. And that just strengthens our partnership towards public education funding more. So I'd be curious to know how other districts are, traversing down that path towards partnership.
That's my
true.
question too. I mean, it's so many of the rural schools, it's those areas that are supporting basically the problems that we have with the funding.
Yeah.
And it's like, they are so absolutely dependent on the success of their public schools or the continuation of their public schools to stay healthy. And it's like, oh, it is frustrating for us because we can contact our legislatures, but it's like we just keep on telling them the same thing. Keep doing what you're doing or trying to do what you're doing.
Right,
Well, I got some good feelings about the elections coming up. That's all I'm gonna
Good.
say.
great.
And I think it goes back to like the consortium conversation too, and their lean to doing some advocacy and some legislative updates is if we can form our own, since we already have the consortium, like we support each other, whether it be the smaller districts or larger districts. And there, at one point, I think, did like a legislative update day or had multiple legislators there, and I know there's interest in doing that again too,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it was
it
held in
all
Middleton.
kind
It
of-
was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
so.
Thanks.
I'll get
Yeah.
off my political soapbox now.
No, it's good.
That's where we need
conversation.
them.
That's right.
We all need to be there.
You do it so
Yes,
well.
we all
Thank
need to be
you.
there.
Any other discussion about our board development tool results? No,
No, I
Thank
just
you for-
appreciate you all.
Yeah, it's true. We have a really great working relationship, so that's,
We
Makes it
challenge
so
each
much-
other in the best ways,
yeah, makes it much easier to get the
especially you,
good work
Bruce.
done.
Bless you.
Thank you for that summary, Erin. All right, next we have our district administrator report.
Whew. It's a lot of me talking at you. I apologize for that.
I mean, we
Um,
could switch it up and do Jeff's report next if you wanted.
No, that's right.
He wants you to stick around longer, Jeff.
I just want to sit back. Some things going around here. You have Miss Fick's class, 2nd grade class here at MPS, some fun stuff in the gym, and then Officer Towns coming here, doing a little patch exchange of their police patches. So that's sweet.
Fun.
So very fun. Good to see excitement that you get down at MPS. And at Wabisa, we had very talented middle and high school do their spring tour, go out and sing there. So the students always really enjoy that, and it's really nice to showcase their talents. Very fortunate.
So do we.
Yeah.
They are really good.
They are good.
Of course, you can see the students here, 3rd graders building quadrilaterals and other polygons with popsicle sticks. So it's really just fun to see that hands-on learning, and that's really what kids remember. They remember those things and that visual in their head. Notice, not on a screen.
Not on screen. Is there no better tool than a popsicle stick?
Yeah, my question is,
Very
do they get to eat all the popsicles prior?
No,
I
you
get-
can
I'm-
just purchase them at a local craft store.
Oh,
That's true. I'm guessing that wouldn't be very sanitary.
probably
No
not.
stickiness.
That would have been like the best day ever, though.
Those faces,
Yeah, they're happy.
they're so happy.
They are.
I love this one. So the, after the vocal tour performance, the middle school did a drop everything and read a deer time, so students and staff do it too, and it really is the expectation that staff do it as well. And I did check to make sure all of their books were right side up.
I
They're-
also appreciate the appropriate nature of the books.
Yeah,
you
they're,
know.
it is, and their photos, it seems a little bit staged. Just saying, just
No,
a
that looks pretty
little
candid.
bit
I'm
staged.
sure that's naturally how they were reading it.
Oh,
I
for
will
sure.
say
And
though,
sitting in
his
their
book
chairs.
in the middle is upside down.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is, it's upside down.
It is.
Oh.
Or
Whoops,
there,
daisies.
she,
I might,
who's ever
it looked like it
book.
was right side up from, yeah, that's fun. Moving on.
Sometimes you just need a quiet moment. It's
Yay,
It's
we have had 9 Square at the middle school in various
Oh, yeah.
temporary forms that don't last, and now it is official through hard work. It is officially built and gonna last for a really long time. It's a super fun game. Students love it. So thanks for that installation to our building and grounds crew.
Woot woot.
Keeping our kids active at recess.
Yes.
Some debate going on in 7th grade.
Oh.
The big question, what is more urgent, coral bleaching or ice loss? I just, you give middle schoolers something to debate
I
about.
think somebody's gonna
Right?
flip a table over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, what did they end up with?
I don't know. I don't think the debate is solvable.
I appreciate that they're not debating like, what's your favorite drink? Like,
Yeah.
these are like real
Real.
issues,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Appreciate that as well. And of course, you
Yay.
see our very own Jessica Garvey named Badger Small Conference Girls Swim Coach of the Year. Very deserving honor. So congratulations to Jess.
Yay.
That's very exciting. French 4 students, they got, look at these plants. They are so proud of those plants. Like, it's amazing. Just like the little prince and his flower, students have taken the
Take the
responsibility of
eyebrows.
caring for something meaningful. That is beautiful.
It's true.
So, great experience there. Model UN, headed to the Wisconsin High School Model UN Conference at UW-Madison. Great
Nice.
picture of them. 2 days. So, appreciate that. Appreciate the leadership of the advisors as well.
Looking very sharp.
Yeah.
Arr. Speaking of looking sharp,
Uh-oh.
here we had Jamie Thomas, Wisconsin Middle School Principal of the Year.
Here, here.
It's a big deal.
That's a big deal. Speaking of local legislators,
Yeah.
2 of them came to visit that day too.
Yeah, so we have your local legislators and a couple board members there, and then representatives from the Association of Wisconsin School Administrators there as well. It was a great event, surprise to her.
Mhm.
So thankfully, it went well. So thanks to everyone that was involved in that planning. It
And the
was very
staff that was
exciting.
there was so,
It was sweet.
they just had a look on their face. You don't see the staff out
It
there,
was
but
very sweet, yeah.
folks, they were very proud of their principal and what that school is doing. It was just awesome to see
Yeah.
on their
Lo-
faces.
A lot of happy tears.
Yep.
Yes,
Pretty
true.
cool.
The solar farm ribbon cutting is coming up on Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, so be sure to come there. It'll be a wonderful event and highlight this wonderful partnership that's good for the village, good for the district, and good for the planet.
Mhm. Yep.
And it's Volunteer Recognition Week, so thank you to our many volunteers. We have so many that do so many things, from cutting things out to chaperoning to, fundraising. So we're very fortunate.
We don't have a dinner for this or anything. I
No,
mean, at one
not
point they
currently.
used to, I know. It's too bad we can't. Because it's just fun to have in the cafeteria. You just start looking at all these folks.
You're welcome to organize.
Yeah, right.
And some other things I wanted to share with you. We conducted Emily Kinser, Director of Teaching and Learning, and I conducted stay interviews. So that's a time where instead of waiting for exit interviews, we say, what keeps you here, particularly our staff in their second year and beyond. So 18 of them, some of the themes that they said that this is a great place to work. Strong culture, supportive leadership, and they would recommend us to other districts. The big thing that we heard was people say that they keep coming back. It's about the relationships with their colleagues and about the excitement that the kids bring every day. But that connection, that collaborative nature of their relationships with colleagues really makes it important to them when times are tough. So they talked about that. They talked about feeling like people are accessible and they have people they can go to. In terms of challenges, the cost of living. Our staff want to live in McFarland. They cannot afford to live in McFarland. And that is hard. And so they talked about compensation being an issue that needs to be addressed. Workload and burnout. Just the workload just keeps increasing. So that's also impacted by increasing student needs. So those are areas that they said are areas of growth for us. So continuing to work on that. And speaking of teacher retention, the Department of Public Instruction released a report on teacher retention, saying it's particularly an issue in the first 5 to 6 years. That's when we're losing teachers. Interestingly, the educator pipeline is stabilizing a bit, so that's refreshing to see. But what they're finding is teachers are getting into the field and too many of them are leaving. So, our response is we try to increase have the salary increases greater early in someone's career so that financial incentives are greater and early in career, so trying to do that. But compensation remains a key driver of staff movement. And so our new staff salary schedule for certified staff is certainly aimed to address that. We also, the study showed about areas of specialty needing to be addressed, and we do feel like our unique markets that are identified on our salary schedule will help us with that. So I think overall I found the report to be affirming that we're on the right track and that there's some sense of promise with more teachers going into the field. We just got to keep them.
I think our mentor program has a lot to do,
It's helpful.
with keeping teachers.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't know that any other districts really exceed what we do in terms of mentors.
I just like that we're being very proactive. I mean, we're not being reactive and going like, oh, what are we going to do after this? We're addressing these problems, and again, I think kudos to you guys, the administration, for
We're trying.
doing,
Yep.
that's all we can do.
Some other things, we had the McFarland Schools Equity Collective meeting since we met last. The social workers did a great job presenting some of the things that they've changed in how they approach making sure students and families are aware of how to address financial needs. So that was a great discussion there. We've had a lot of testing in the district, forward testing, ACT, pre-ACT, so a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, especially technology-wise. Proctoring, from Kim Wink to, Leah Lackey. I mean, people all across the district, our tech department doing great things, and it's a lot of work.
Bless you.
But thanks to Brooke Hauser and Emily Kinser and so many others, student services staff. Appreciate that. Our Girl Up Club presented on women in STEM to the students at WIS. That was another great thing that they did there. Want to shout that out. I didn't get to go to Bandorama. It's one of the most popular events.
It was excellent.
Excellent.
And it was a big crowd.
Good.
The length of the gym bleachers were full, and
Good.
Yeah.
one end of the gym bleachers were full as well.
Wonderful.
We weren't able to go either, and my junior reported that there was a standing ovation for over a minute for Brian Vanderblumen, who's retiring.
Ooh, that's a long time.
It is a long
Oh, yeah.
That's a long time for
It
a
is a
standing
long
ovation.
time.
He was
said
getting,
it was
I think he was
really
getting a little uncomfortable.
well.
But it was really
Yeah.
That's
moving.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
there's
very
He's a
nice.
special educator.
Yes. Yeah. So
Really great
it was
hearing.
a nice moment, but I was sad to miss it.
Oh, thanks. The dialogue dinner happened, so speaking of mentors, so thank you to those that were able to attend. Megan shared a few remarks.
Aaron also shared a few
I
words.
did share a few remarks. And did some sort of odd dancing that I didn't expect to do, but it was like there was this kind of thing, this
Yeah.
dance floor, really.
It's true,
Are
it
you
was.
the only one who did the odd dancing?
Yes.
Yeah. It's all right,
Okay,
though.
That's hilarious.
got it.
I did
It's
an
okay.
interpretive dance to highlight mentorship.
Righty.
But it was a great event, and it really,
was.
we have such, really, so you know, that event is really about our mentees talking about the process and giving advice for the future. We had staff development on Friday, continued our work with designing for diversity with Dr. Moore. Our final time with her for this cohort really worked on lesson design to meet the needs of all learners. Some great presentations. Emily Kinzer did a really impactful presentation for the high school on educational technology. I've heard great things about that. The staff took the school perception staff survey. We had well-being for all on social emotional learning, student behavior systems, early literacy, equitable events planning tool at Wabisa. So when you're planning events, make sure it is equitable. Content teams, lots of great things. Thanks to Emily Kinzer for attending the UW-Madison Career Fair on April 13th. I was not able to attend because I was with all of you, actually.
That's true.
But she said it was a really good event, met a lot of great prospective students. So that's the first time I think we've been to that event.
Nice.
So appreciate her doing that. I want to recognize some donations. So we had some really generous donations. Leslie Smith made a very significant donation to the McFarland High School Pride Pantry.
Nice.
So really kind of very significant. And Dr. Keeker of Great Day Dental of Monona made a significant donation to the boys tennis team to purchase a tennis record board.
Nice.
So appreciate that.
Great.
So thank you to our donors. It really makes a difference.
And
does.
who was the one who suggested we do this? One of you guys.
I think it was Meredith. Didn't you
Maybe.
ask to be
I think
copied?
Meredith wanted the
maybe.
letters, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
thought that was so amazing,
Yeah.
and the very, like, a couple
thanks,
days or a
Andy.
day later, you sent those
Yeah,
out.
it was very.
And that is really good for us to read
Yeah.
those. It was
It was a
very nice.
huge, I don't know, picking up's the wrong word, but it just really,
was a
it's
nice.
inspirational.
It's
Like,
affirming, yeah.
It's just very
Yep.
affirming.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Great
thank you for the support.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
amazing.
Absolutely.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Some things coming up, and then I promise I'm done talking. April 22nd, Environmental Awareness Day. April 22nd is also Administrative Professional Day. That is Wednesday, so thank you, Angie Stroud, for your amazing leadership. You make all of us look so much better, supporting our students and staff and families.
100% true.
Whew.
Totally.
Yeah, other, jobs that are difficult. You do it with grace. So
True
thank
story.
you.
True.
The Equity Picnic is also on Wednesday, so that will be a great event where our high school and middle school student groups get together and talk about advocacy. We have the ribbon cutting that afternoon. The 23rd is Take Your Child to Work Day. The 24th is Arbor Day. My wife would want you to know that was founded in the state of Nebraska. But an important day,
What day is that?
the 24th.
24th, all right, Friday.
The Musicale is coming up, Shrek, of course. State Soul Ensemble's coming up. The Craft Fair is coming up
That's right.
on Saturday.
Yeah, we're all going to have fun being there, aren't we?
Got your shifts.
Come by
Yeah.
and say hi, ask questions.
Ready to go, yeah.
Yep. We'll
Visible
probably
board.
have candy.
The 28th is School Bus Drivers Day. The 29th is the Kindergarten Music Program and the Vocal Showcase at the high school. May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. May 1st is Principals Day and also School Lunch Hero Day and the start of Physical Education Week. And May 4th through 8th is Staff Appreciation Week. We're back here on the 4th, which is also the High School Music Awards. And I wanted to mention, I got an invite last week that May 6th is the McFarland Senior Outreach Documentary Screening and Silent Auction from 5:30 to 7:30. You do need to make a reservation in order to attend. That's all I know about it, other than the invite that I got. So
Awesome.
it sounds very exciting.
Cool.
And I think we have a kind of an important recognition. This happens to be Craig Howery's school board meeting. You're not done yet, though. There's still some action items, but,
Yep.
you know, I think this is an appropriate time for us to share some words about you, Craig. I would say that there's somebody called Rita Pearson that talks about every student needs a champion, and you have been a champion for this district
Yes.
for so long. And that's really, what I think, really defines you as a champion for the McFarland School District. And we would not be where we are without you. So
Oh,
I
shucks.
appreciate you. Really do. Really, it's hard to imagine this board without you. And now we have to.
It's
So,
true.
Oh.
It's sad.
The board will be fine.
Appreciate you. I just really appreciate you.
I appreciate your kind words.
Of course, of course. Anybody have anything they would like to share?
Okay, I'll do one. So, oh, nice eye roll. So what I want to say about Craig is actually before I got on the board, and it's my first and favorite memory of Mr. Craig Howery. It was at a Spartan baseball game, and I walked up, and I was with my, well, fiance at the time, but now husband, and you had on a yellow vest. And I said to my husband, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Craig Howery. He's the school board president. And my husband's like, what? I'm like, that's Craig Howery. He's the school board president. So I walked up to you and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you. I am Cooper Kennedy's mom. And for the next like 2 minutes, he just went on and on about my kid. And all I could think was, you are such a tremendous human being to remember details of so many kids and so many families that you've touched in McFarland. So thank you for your service. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for always showing up with new ink, because, you know, I do love keeping track of the tats. And enjoy your much-earned retirement,
Well
even
said.
though I still have a feeling we're going to see you at all this stuff.
Yes.
It's true. It's
I
true.
remember that very well.
Mm-hmm.
So well said.
He kept coming up.
Yeah.
I kept trying to say the good stuff, but then he'd
Yeah,
come
it
up
was,
and-
I think it was senior parent night. And we had to take pictures. And so, like, Craig kept trying to tell me stuff. And Cooper just kept coming up. And I was like, Liam, I want to hear someone rave about you, you know? But no, it was a wonderful conversation. And I'm so glad I've had the last 2 years to work with you.
Back at you.
Thanks.
Craig, I'm gonna miss you a lot, because he's just been around for so long, and I have too, and just chatting with you, and you got us through some pretty tough times there, bud.
Yeah.
And you did a wonderful job, so we are very, very blessed to have you at that point.
Thank you.
That's true. That's true. Go ahead. Yeah. Meredith looks.
I
ready.
haven't known you as long as others have. And I think you all have said it very well. You have a sense about you that is very open. And you take information in, and you speak when you need to. And when you speak, you lead with experience and compassion and heart. And I very much have valued the education I've received from you this past year, on where we've come from and where we've been. That is who we are. We value that. So thank you for that. You are deeply embedded in who we are and very much appreciated. So.
Jeez.
See, they just keep getting better.
It's true.
No pressure,
All right, Miss
President.
Megan.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not that much left to say. But you've given so much to this community in service, especially the school district. And you've just been such a positive fixture since I've started. I'm in my 4th year, and, you know, I'm going to miss your positive mindset, your wisdom, and the experience that you bring. I mean, that's all, it's so much. I appreciate the year that you gave me to learn from you as, you know, as being vice president and letting me be president. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm going to especially miss your shoes.
Yes.
And your flair that you bring. They're going to be very different without you at these school board meetings. We're going to miss you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity to serve the district. I can honestly say I thoroughly enjoyed 95% of the last, 15, 16 years.
That's a lot.
There have been a couple of very trying times.
Yeah.
The pandemic was difficult from both a school district and personal perspective. And the work that this group did after the lost referendum was remarkable. But that was probably the time where I began to realize I was a bit old. Getting old. And I don't have the energy that's a must in order to be a good advocate for the district. I'll always be an advocate for the district,
Yeah.
virtually no matter what. I've been around 55 years. Going to attend my first reunion this summer. Before my whole class is gone. But I appreciate all the superintendents, present company included.
Thank God she said included.
I think Jeff and I have been working together for about both of our careers. And I have a great deal of pride.
You should.
Just,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
You should be
Oh,
proud.
no, I'm going to
Yeah.
start crying.
Yep.
Happens every
You did the
time.
Howard.
I was waiting for it. I really was.
It happens every time.
It's your heart that we love.
Yeah.
So thank you for being who you are.
And don't be a stranger.
Don't be a
Now
stranger.
you can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
can do all the public comments you want to do.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
You'll have to drag me out kicking and screaming.
Starting next Monday.
You're
Yeah,
gonna be
for
like,
the
Angie, start the
27th.
5-minute timer. Let's go.
That's right. Oh, well, anything else on that? All right. Then I think we're ready to move on to Jeff Mahoney and his updates for us. That's going to be a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yep, no pressure.
Well, from a timing perspective, you have 4 minutes. Go. I'm just kidding.
Problem.
She's not kidding.
No set.
I'm totally kidding.
Oh. So, first report, just our monthly board budget update. Number of these slides will probably kind of scroll through because they're really not a update, but just a carry forward from previous meetings. Back to the schedule, sorry. I just want to highlight the reason we have certain ones in green. Those are really critical points. So tonight's not a critical point, but it is very important for us to talk about staffing. So that'll be one of our topics tonight. I did have a calendar error on my calendar here. April 23rd is not ERC, that is the 30th of April. But, we still have a little bit before we have our annual meeting in October. So as you know, we do 9 months of budgeting, preparation, and then take a couple months off. What are we working on? We are working on resident enrollment still. Obviously, that's ongoing because people do move to us all the time. Just a shout out to Emily Broom, who has already placed over 120 4K students and worked with the families on their locations. Open enrollment, application season ends in another week. And so far we'll get just a little data there, and it is majorly hiring season. We'll get to a little bit of that in a bit. We, as Mr. Tarnitzer already highlighted, we did work through the certified staff compensation plan. Upcoming at the next ERC is support staff. And then others later on in May. Just a reminder of a resident enrollment. I wish that was upside down, but it's not. I am a half glass full, almost always bubbling over, but yes, that is where we're kind of headed with our resident enrollment right now. And I'm sure Mr. Tarnitzer and I will talk about the venue that he and I were at today. In future meetings, we'll chat about some of the things we learned from area districts that are also facing this. So that's just more detail of which buildings are decreasing, and as we've highlighted before, MPS and Wabisa are where our low points are. So we'll keep plugging along, welcoming all resident students, whether they want to come back from the private or their voucher schools any day. Please do. That's my plug for
Bless
getting
you.
kids to come back.
Love it.
Open enrollment as of, it should say 4/16/26 up there at the top. No real different than what February held. There's a lot of interest at the 4K and kindergarten 5K level, but still, a little bit of space, and then a lot of space available at our second, third, fourth, I guess not fourth, we only had a few openings, 5th grade and 10th grade. So again, there's still interest, there's still time for people to join us. So we'll continue to go down that process. Miss Emily Broom also handles that process.
When
as
is
well.
that deadline again?
April 30th.
April 30th. okay.
Come to McFarland. 10 more
Yeah.
days. You know you want to.
All right, here we go.
It's a great place to be.
That's right.
Really excited is because a lot of these positions are very much in action right now of interviews or already filled. ESL was filled. Just kind of a reflection, 17 applicants for that position, so that was great. Intervention technology, there's 8 applicants. World language, 3. Music at MHS Middle School, 40.
What?
So, yeah, that is significant. We are a draw, so it's
See,
great.
it really is a great place to be.
That's right.
Wow, that's impressive.
5th grade, 2 positions were already filled. Kindergarten, 2 positions already filled. With social worker, 14 applicants. That again tells us that people are drawn to here for some difficult positions. MHS science, 13. IMMS special education, 12. Like we used to only see 2, maybe 3.
Only takes one.
Yep, takes one great one. And the principal, so far 20 applicants. That is as
So I
of
got a
today
week.
or about an hour ago when Aaron started his report.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wait a minute, how many did we get since Aaron started his report?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, that was funny though.
That was subtle. I was like, just,
We've got-
We spent a lot of time together today.
Yeah, we still stuck up. I think that really just speaks to like, one, the work we've done in compensation schedule, as well as just the culture that we have. Like that speaks for itself. Yeah, that's impressive. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. A whole bunch of other slides that I didn't have to share with you because there are a lot of repeats. So this is just a real summary. We continue to work on revenue expense, salary wage plans. Monitoring the state legislature, that's kind of done. Given up on them a while ago. Monitoring enrollment, hiring season, we just talked about that. Year-end spending, our principals and our teams have been doing great. And beyond 26, 27, we're always looking at how we're going to kind of get through this next few years of our legislature. One thing I was gonna point out in one of my slides that I didn't put in tonight. Thinking about glass half full, glass half empty. 57% of our funding for McFarland isn't from taxes. That's something that should be celebrated,
Mm-hmm.
because
That's
not
true.
many districts can say that. If you take all of our funding that's outside of taxes, 57% comes from elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that, what meeting was that where you shared that, or you shared the table afterwards of the distribution of taxes and state aid? Oh, thank you,
Wow.
Melanie.
February 16th for the public.
Yeah. And we were like at the top of that positive ratio.
Yeah.
Weren't we? Yeah. So, yes, we are, that's a great thing to celebrate.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Even with the referendum.
Yeah.
Can you explain that, why that is? Again?
Certainly.
So the
We
public
have
understands.
a equalization aid formula system that does benefit school districts that are ours, which are small land area districts with lots of students in it.
Good.
That's probably the number one
Yep.
piece with that.
Okay.
I hope the public heard that. That's good. That's wonderful.
Sorry, I forgot to take that slide back up. All righty.
Thank you, Jeff.
Any questions on staffing budget?
I'm
Great.
excited so many people are applying for
Yeah.
our,
It is.
It's really great.
positions.
Speaking of budget, but a little bit more in depth, is our school nutrition budget overview. And the reason I bring this forward is because in May you will be approving fees for lots of parts of the district.
Oh, that's right.
But school nutrition will be one of the opportunities for us to move forward with a little
Okay.
bit. So I wanted to give a little bit more background on how school nutrition is financed. So we'll take a short period of time here. So our major expenditures, obviously, are staffing costs, wages and benefits, and then food, beverage, and supplies. The school nutrition budget does not pay for natural gas or electricity or water or sewer. That is something that could be, that is something that is usually not done in school districts. Our revenues come from student fees, parents, state reimbursements, very minimal, and federal reimbursements, and I'll show you some of that data in a little bit here. What's interesting is when you talk about, okay, what is the philosophy of school nutrition funding? And we've had this philosophy, and when all of the area school districts and I were discussing this in our bi-monthly business manager conversations, we all started talking about it, and it was great that we all kind of have the same sort of general theory on it. We're trying to break even. We're trying not to bring money from Fund 10 to Fund 50, even though Fund 50 does support it a bit, or Fund 10 does with the utilities. But we also are trying to maintain a little bit of a fund balance so that we have operating revenues, and also equipment does either A, go through planned replacement or emergency replacement. So overall, it's about long-term sustainability, maintaining adequate reserves for adapting our operations as, participation levels change, and then any other financial pressures. And if you think about financial pressures right now, we deal with fuel surcharges that start to creep in if things tend to be higher for more than a month. So far, none of our consortium companies are doing that yet, but it has occurred before. All right, the big picture here is, 1,400 customers every day. That doesn't include the a la carte kits either. So
amazing.
we have a big restaurant in
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do.
four buildings, so, which is wonderful. We're generally around 50% or more at the elementary level, and then it dips down for middle school and high school, but that doesn't include a la carte. So those are great numbers.
Though, isn't it?
Say what?
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
As the students age,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many cookies have showed up on my account from the high school.
We love that. We're modestly staffed, 19 members when you think about, that many meals a day. Each building basically has 3 staff members, the middle school a little bit more, and the high school, which also is one of our production kitchens that supports the other buildings a little bit. We have 3 district-wide staff, one being at the high school, who is our lead production supervisor, also was a graduate of McFarland here. And we have 11-month administrative assistant and director. The one thing I'm sure over time that may come into play is the director position in most school districts is year-round.
Okay.
So that's something to be monitoring over the next few years. Staffing costs, wages and benefits. I think I'm helping set up why we have potential of fee change. One of the pieces is wage costs have averaged 8% increases over the last 4 years. We have a lot of competition for food service employees. And some of these shifts are 3-4 hours. They're not 8 hours. So grabbing folks in to work a midday shift, of which we love to advertise to our elementary families and middle school families, and we usually get some individuals that is great. They might not be working full time. They might be able to give a few hours, and it is very helpful that they're a part of our community and helping us. Benefit costs average 7% increase over the last 4 years as well. So supply costs are also going up. Food, beverage, 5%. So not bad for a large organization, but that's part of that large consortium that we're, for buying purposes, that we're a part of. Represents 43% of the budget. So basically think, 5% overall for all the areas over the last 4 years, and we haven't really increased costs or fees much. But the big reason, all right, so 62% of our revenue comes from student fees. The state, whopping 1%, which is fine, because the federal government with the National School Lunch Program has been a huge provider of helping school districts provide nutrition, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or even the milk breaks over time.
Have there been I'm sorry.
Yep.
Have there been any cuts in terms of that federal school lunch
yet.
program yet?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, Craig, you hit it right there.
What a wonderful
The
question.
business mind of Craig already jumped there for me, so I appreciate that. So we're seeing about 37% right now. It was 86% in 21-22. So we had more money than we needed. That's because the National School Lunch Program just blanket across the United States, picked a number and sent reimbursements to every district. So that was great.
Now, was that during COVID?
After the 1 year after COVID.
Okay,
year.
okay.
Yep, it was kind of the reboot year.
Okay.
So, you go from 1.3 million in federal reimbursements to 495,000. You're going to have a bit of a budget issue. So the next page, if you go to 22-23 and 21-22, I think even their own slide is not right, but 77 cents for paid rate. So if a student doesn't qualify for free or reduced, we were getting 77 cents per meal, and now we're down to 44 cents. So that's the big hit. So why are we just addressing this now? We'll go to the next slide, Angie. What's the balance sheet look like? If you go from left to right, you'll see that at the bottom, our ending fund balance was just about over 480,000 in 21-22. Then it grew in 22-23. And then we made decisions not to increase fees because we, A, could spend some of our reserves. B, there was no reason to ask our patrons at this point to pay for food when we had the reserves. So we have been on a planned deficit for each of the last 3 years, including this year. So is this planned? Yes, talked about that. We anticipate that we'll have about $278,000 left at the end of this year for operating balance. That should help us to be about 2 to 3 months of operating balance. Keeps us from having to borrow from Fund 10 and allows for planned or emergency equipment replacements, ovens, fridges, and freezers. Oh my.
Quick question, and this is going back to the other slide about the Keep Kids Fed Act. So it shows on there that it expired at the end of 2024 or 2023, something like that. Do you know if there's any current federal legislation pending? Or is that on another slide?
Nope,
Oh.
it's not another. It's not another slide. It's just a bullet of. We could be coming to the board for more money because we know that we're going to have to over the next few years be
Okay.
increasing this. However, the National School Lunch Program changes rules every year.
Does that fall under the now defunct Department of Ed? I don't know
Nope,
if the
USDA.
USDA, okay.
So a little safer.
Awesome,
I mean, if they're safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, it's a challenge. Let's go to, how do we fix the budget deficit? Yeah. Yep, there we go. Fees are really kind of it. You know, we've really been a good steward of trying to make sure that we have the right amount of staffing, part of the consortiums for food purchasing, equipment purchasing. So we are looking at about 20 cents per meal for breakfast. And I have another slide on this that'll go into this a bit more detail, but lunch 40 to 65 cents per meal, depending on the grade level. It's going to generate us about 81,000 in revenue to offset the deficit of just over 100,000. We'll need to use some of our fund balance next year as well still. We'll have to be creative. We're already looking at how we can increase more participation, because it's a lot about how can we show families that we can do this cheaper than you and save you a lot of time at home.
Okay, so another question, sorry, this is just my
Yep.
business mind going. So in your slide regarding breakdown of meals by school, and you said it didn't include the à la carte figures.
Right.
What percentage of business, sorry, I have no other word for it, does à la carte make up sales from the total?
So a la carte sales at the high school are about 25%.
So, seeing as how, I mean, because that's a pretty significant portion at the high school,
Mm-hmm.
have we thought about raising the cost of à la carte items to help balance things a little bit? Okay,
Yep.
if
So
that was already in there
annually-
too, I apologize.
Nope, there's not a slide about a la
Okay.
carte. So annually, we're always looking at our pricing of our a la carte. We're also trying to make sure that we're not pushing kids out the door to Quick Trip or bringing too much outdoor in. So we try to make it convenient for families, but maintain a good price.
Yeah, okay,
The one area that we're going to be getting back to a little bit more is catering, which is something that we haven't done as much because the USDA changed a lot of rules. So we took a break, and now we have to come back to having an actual menu, an actual approved setup with the USDA, or actually the DPI, because we have to follow different rules with them. So we're gonna get back at, because there are events that bring in outside food that we can compete with. So that will help.
how much
bottom
of
line.
food services takes care of the concession stands?
None.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did
'Cause I
that
knew
for a
they
while.
used to when,
Yes, so we were asked to try, groups could not make as much money.
okay,
Because part of it is, we can't get the deals like you can
at the Co's, the
at the
Costco's?
Costco's.
Yeah.
We have to buy direct from the suppliers.
Okay.
Yeah.
great questions.
Sorry, I'm sorry for all the questions.
No, this is,
Very good.
This is just very in my wheel.
well,
Which we appreciate.
Yeah.
food service is one of our major funds that we don't spend a lot of time talking about,
Yeah.
so.
That's right.
I've, not so much a question as a comment. As I understand it, kids of all ages can't learn if they're tired or if they're hungry. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that we get these kids fed in the morning, and this is just anecdotal, but I have to believe that our academic performance is better because of these programs.
100%.
And the second thing I have is, I don't know if people appreciate the fact that once we get a higher amount of student lunch fees getting behind, that the community has always stepped up and paid those fees. I'm not so sure that everybody understands that. I think people don't place enough emphasis on, I have good knowledge that in a significant percentage of cases, the food these kids get at school may very well be all they get, which is incredibly sad, but I think it's a reality. So kudos to you and the staff for all the hard work. Like you said, you've got a moderate staff that I don't know how they work under the time constraints they do. I mean, it's just the logistics of it are remarkable.
Have we ever done a preemptive, like build the bank type of idea where people can make donations throughout the year to help support food balances?
So I'm glad you brought that up, even though it's not a slide here. Katie Havener, our administrative assistant, she's been working with us to develop little campaigns of, here, if you do want to donate, this is where you can go. So kicking off some things next year.
Okay, I love that idea.
Yep.
That's great.
So, you're always kind of curious, how do we compare with our most comparable districts, which is, when you're talking about employee groups, you got to be very geographic for food service. Staff come from these areas that support us and work for us. So overall, the average for breakfast is $1.94 at the elementary level, all the way through $2.13. And then if you look at the McFarland average, we're $2.05 across the board. So little over in the elementary, little under in the middle school and high school. Then when you get to lunches, over on the left-hand side, elementary, middle school, high school, you'll see that we are below each of those areas.
That's
And
pretty
that's
significant.
partly just because of other districts have moved theirs up faster, sooner. So the next slide, which you don't have, because I forgot to give it to Angie, I built it today, actually. DPI actually requires us to have, so it's not on this slide right now. DPI tells us what we should be charging. They're saying we should have a lunch at $4.16. The calculation I don't agree with that they tell us is that milk should be 89 cents.
What is it
For-
right now?
50. We're not charging 89 cents for a cup of milk.
Thank you.
That's something that I'm just kind of holding on with our food service department, that we want to make it convenient for families. Families at 89 cents would be sending a gallon with their kid and keeping it in the locker and say, try to keep that cold, which would make it really smelly. Not that anybody ever did that.
Yeah.
I hope right.
Don't ever.
So what does this mean for if we were to have these prices increased and accepted next May, or this coming May? For breakfast, about $1 per week. We're looking at 20 cents. For lunch, we're looking at, gotta read my notes here. So we're looking at $2.06 in change for elementary lunches for a week. Middle school, just over $3, and at the high school, just over $3.35. So,
How long has it been since we've increased?
well, we had a small increase just a few years ago of 20 cents, just before we started to use more of our reserves. So we've been just trying to be very thoughtful. So, fees, 26.27 at the May 4th. And then as a note, we're just kind of monitoring the National School Lunch Program each year. So we'll probably have more of an update about school nutrition sometime during next year's fiscal year, about where we're at. Do we have to jump faster, more, or has someone decided to change the federal rules again? Questions?
Does this also impact the reduced lunch rate?
Oh, no, actually not. So in this budget, we are continuing to plan for if a family is eligible for reduced, we're giving them free pricing.
Oh, that's right. Right.
So
Okay.
we're going to
Great.
continue that process for next year as well. The difference is only about $5,000. And it becomes more administrative time to try to collect on the small amount of money that we are charging, that's just not worth.
Yeah.
It's better for our families that need assistance to get the full assistance.
Okay. Support that.
That is a great decision.
Yeah,
Mhm.
agreed.
Great.
Okay.
There should be no barrier to help.
Yeah, right.
To
Okay. Any other
basic
questions?
necessity.
Thanks for putting that all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
That's excellent. Thank
Give me
you.
a second. I'm gonna try to get through it. I just wanted to personally thank you. You've made my work as a school board member so much easier. Your predictions are incredibly accurate.
That's true.
I think, I can't remember a year that I kind of went to myself, yeah, but you said. That's never happened. And your willingness to take on so many duties is remarkable. You've, over my career, have been phenomenal. And just know that I've appreciated it.
Well, I appreciate it, and as everybody else said, you have been involved in McFarland School District forever, and will always continue to do that. And I'm not gonna cry either, though. So we'll
Thank you.
stop short of that.
Yeah.
Take a sip.
We should stop.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, are we ready for some action items? Yes.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Megan?
Yes, okay. All right, well, I think we can still chat about this. So the first action item, consideration and possible action to amend the previously approved name of the Performing Arts Center to include McFarland. Will you give us a little review?
Yeah, so as you recall at the last board meeting, the board voted to rename the McFarland Performing Arts Center to the Bill Garvey Performing Arts Center. And one of the things that was mentioned in that discussion was the value of the word McFarland being in our current name. In addition, something that was learned after the meeting was how much of the branding across the Performing Arts Center, from chairs to stands, includes the MPAC. It's in the logo, all of those things. And so one idea that was brought forward was whether you would want to revise the name, amend the name to include McFarland in the title. One idea being Bill Garvey McFarland Performing Arts Center. So keeping the current name, basically, McFarland Performing Arts Center, but putting Bill Garvey in front of it.
Okay.
Which would require an amendment because it's adding a word to your previously approved motion.
Okay. Does anyone have any thoughts they want to share or discuss?
Well, I think Michelle Garvey wrote that she talked it over with her children, am I correct? And they would.
That's what she said?
Yeah, and they would prefer that they don't, or we don't do that? Yeah,
That's her
Just-
preference.
yeah.
We have also received other feedback saying that people are in support of it. So there's that.
We had initial suggestions to make sure to include that, the McFarland piece as well, just from our past conversations.
I think it's a nice marriage of a few issues if we consider it, because if it's brought to us by staff who were concerned about the amount of change, and it's amending our motion is going to help reduce some of the impact of the change on staff and time and resources, I think it helps marry this fiduciary duty that we talked about, and the impact of it. So I think that's an important consideration. And having Bill Garvey still at the front of it, as this option suggests, still puts his name first. So I think, like, it still honors that very much. Other thoughts?
Well, I mean, we've talked about trying to attract people to utilize the Performing Arts Center more. And so being able to capitalize on the fact that it is the McFarland Performing Arts Center, I think is really strong. But also maintaining the authenticity of Bill Garvey and his family and what he meant to the community. I mean, I think putting McFarland in there is a great way to combine the two. Like you said, it's a beautiful marriage. And also ensuring that we're keeping staff concerns as well in the forefront, I think is important too.
I think I would probably add, I agree, I think it marries what staff is telling us, other feedback we've received, the financial piece, and I think what also goes along with the financial piece is the man-hours. It's not just paying for marketing piece or paying for a new sign. It's the man-hours and time to facilitate creation of those, and also creation of the space. And it's not just money, it's time. And I think you see in kind of other agenda topics, even tonight and other times, that our focus, that time, I think, should be spent elsewhere, just to be very blunt, and not on, our staff should not be spending time on a renaming, our staff should be spending time on our students. That's just how I feel about that, so.
No, I think that's a good point. The other piece that I'm just thinking about actually is, in terms of the marketing and the brand that's already established, and in the fact that we're trying to use the Performing Arts Center as more of a revenue generator and like putting feelers out in that water, I think it's actually important that we keep the McFarland part in there to continue with that brand recognition and getting that name out. I don't know that there's any, I think with the way that the discussion happened, when we first, made the motion, I think we probably needed a little more time to, really talk about the name part of it. And so I think it's nice that we've had some time to kind of think about it and then consider this as an option, so.
I think we all need to remember that part of the referendum was the promise that if you help us build these beautiful facilities, they're gonna be available to the entire community. Not all the time, but there's gonna be times you can use the track, there's gonna be times you can use the pool. Same with the Performing Arts Center. Honestly, I kept going through, okay, how can we do both? And I couldn't come up with something that in my view, didn't seem kind of clunky. It doesn't just
Doesn't
flow.
flow, yeah.
But I don't know that that's more important than making sure the community understands that these facilities are theirs as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've got to believe that, I don't know how much revenue the Performing Arts Center creates now, but I've got to think it could be significant. That's a beautiful facility, which a lot of places don't have. So I don't know that I just made my point of view any clearer or more muddy.
Well,
but-
actually, to your point though, with the presentation we got from Michelle and the party, I'll say, I mean, having Bill Garvey's name attached to the Performing Arts Center will automatically bring more visibility. So by keeping McFarland in it, it's not gonna detract from it.
Right.
I feel it's only gonna elevate it, right? And, it just doesn't have to be in McFarland. I mean, him having such a close connection with UW Band and whatnot. But also, to your point, brand awareness, brand recognition, dialing home the McFarland piece, I think is still critical.
Yeah.
I wish we would have considered, I wish we could have known this or talked about this last time before we voted. I feel bad about that, because there's something that feels kind of icky to me about it. It's just, it almost kind of like an ex post facto law, which is, after the fact, it's like, okay, we'll change it, but now we could change our mind on that, and we're gonna change it again. And that bothers me. There's to me, there's nothing magical about that 40 applicants wanting to come to McFarland. That's Bill Garvey. And I will tell you, they have continued it, but it started with Bill. And, it's a remarkable thing. And again, I'm just trying to think, again, how do these 3 children or 2 children and a daughter-in-law feel and what Michelle has done. There's just something, I wish we could maybe think about this or talk about this. These points are very valid. I just know that it's something that they'd written about, and we read about that in that email, so I don't know. They've done so much for this community. And again, for younger people, and when I say younger, probably 40 and under, they might not know anything about Bill Garvey. But the majority of people who live in this district know Bill Garvey. And that's what I'm concerned about.
And I think that, Bruce, is also why maybe I feel a strong leaning towards keeping McFarland in the name, is because I think there are other opportunities, and even kind of Michelle in our conversation shared that there are other ideas to highlight the contributions that he made to the community and to the broader, UW community and music in general as well as the performing arts. So I think it's hard, right? I mean, we know these people, you know these people, I know those, teachers, and it's a personal decision, but it's also a decision we have to make as a board. I guess the other thing I would probably just say is, a performing arts center needs to be the collective also for McFarland and not about one person. And I feel pretty passionate about that representation does matter. And if we are a performing arts center, having one name attached to that, I think in part could negate other heavy contributors to the arts in general. And people who may not look like Bill Garvey, just to be really blunt and honest about it, that if you don't see someone like you getting recognition in places, that turns you off. And I think we owe it to have space in our community, broader community, and our school that's, even by the outside of the name, is more inclusive. And so I think this, going back, although I do agree that that's a challenge, and adding in the McFarland piece of that is important. And I think it's also important that staff brought that to us.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't us coming up with we need to go back and change it. We have constituents, if you will, who said this is a concern. How do you feel about it? Because I think we would not have reconsidered it had people in our constituents not said anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give them the conversation as well, but I don't know.
I guess the other thing I want to bring up, and I think it's something we should all ask ourselves, is there a negative outside of potentially feeling, to use Bruce's word, icky, that we didn't discuss it in the previous meeting? Is there a negative with putting McFarland back into it?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good reframe. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And
Yeah.
that was my point. I was wondering, is this something that we think is important going forward? Then we as the board should probably make some kind of rules, whatever. It looks to me it's like you just kind of change your mind here. And
Well-
that's what
I think, I appreciate your perspective, and I appreciate you both sharing thoughts about it. I think, we talked about in our board development tool that we are a data-driven decision-making body. And I think we received new data, and now we have a new consideration to make. And I think, to Megan's point, I can't think of a downside, except that the Garveys might not be as happy with our decision.
Yeah.
But we have to think about the whole district, and we have to think about all the people, excuse me, who are coming through the doors of the Performing Arts Center. And so I think if including the McFarland name helps with that, then I'm in support of it. If there's a negative that we're not considering, and we learn of that, in a few weeks, then maybe we have to reconsider. But
Yeah.
I think we just have new data to consider, and that's what we're.
So can we consider tabling this till the next board meeting? I think it gives us a chance, all of us. Quite honestly, I'm not aware of that, and I'm trying to think in my mind, okay, what did I not read? And I don't know where that was. I'd really like to see that data, and wasn't even
The what?
aware of it.
Are you talking about the
Data.
staff?
The staff, yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall
That's,
seeing anything. from
it's
the
just
staff.
what I've referenced about
Yeah.
things being branded,
Okay.
the MPAC.
And then I guess I would,
She's just saying data in the sense of new
Yeah,
information.
new information.
okay, well, I'm not privy to that, or it may have been my fault that I haven't seen it, but it seems like I've been kind of
It's
following
just
everything.
what Aaron said in the interpreter.
Like, we didn't get any formal email communication
Right,
from
right.
staff
I mean,
about
I'll
it.
be honest with you, that was, this suggested change is, kind of made sense to me. Then the only thing I read was when, Michelle and the 3 children talked it over. I mean, there's a part of me, it isn't called the Green Bay Packer Lambeau Field. It's not the, I'm just thinking of Carnegie Hall is not New York City Carnegie Hall. It's, I would think in some ways this kind of changes. It's not, again, McFarland Lloyd Schneider Stadium. It's Lloyd Schneider Stadium. And you know what? When I go to the pool, I rarely say the Angie O'Donnell. I just say I'm going to the pool. And I think people kind of know it. And that's why I'm not sure, I think if we want to change the rules, we should change it in a proper way, at a proper time, and change it. That's not a problem. And unfortunately, I'm going to argue that we are not in normal times because of funding and because of, the state of the state of our funding for our public schools. We have to rely on people. And then lastly, I understand what you're saying, Meredith, and I think it's a valid point. But there's nothing, we can do about who was teaching here. It's just, that's a fact, and Bill Garvey reached a lot of people. Just an awful lot of people. I mean, within the community itself and the band that he started, that is still strong within this community. My feeling is recognize these people. I don't see the downside to that at all. I mean, I just don't see it.
It's
Do
just
you-
the how.
Yeah, do you-
How do we recognize
Like,
those
do you
people?
feel that by keeping McFarland in it, we're detracting from Bill Garvey?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And I'd be honest with you, that's, as I said, that was in my mind going through before I read that email. But it's the email that bothers me because, again, I said this before, people talk about staff and they, we're so proud of staff. This is an opportunity to say, we really do care. And I just kind of feel like, kind of reminds me a little bit of, the old Peanuts, and Lucy said, kick the ball, and at the last second rips it away, and, away they go. I just feel like they've just done an awful lot. And I don't know how they'd feel about it. It just kind of bothers me. That's the icky side.
But
We've already,
Well,
I understand.
We've addressed some of that.
So
Yeah.
that's why I would say, why don't we can we just postpone this and let us try to talk to staff, whatever find it is. There's a part of me I think if we're gonna make this change, we should probably study it a little bit more to look for the downsides, positive, whatever. I just think in a way, is there a real rush on this?
well, I think the staff who have to make the changes probably feel urgent about it.
Except I don't know who those people are and I haven't heard what they said. I mean, I just kind of, to me, it's,
could we add this to the agenda for the first week in May?
You could. I guess I'm just struggling to understand what more information you need to learn.
I would talk to the staff. I'm just curious what they're saying.
So when you say the staff, who do you mean?
I don't know who. That's what my question is. I'd like to know who am I
So
talking to or
what staff
who's-
are giving you the
This is
feedback
what-
regarding?
I guess I'm a bit uncomfortable. I think I'm kind of confused. Like, the information from the staff is what I've shared with you, that there are certain things that say MPAC, McFarland Performing Arts Center, that's labeled throughout the facility. All the stands,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the chairs.
Yeah.
And I just brought that to all of your attention in the event that instead, of changing that part, you would put Bill Garvey, MPAC.
Yeah.
So it's more of like a logistical, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Makes
it
things
also
easier.
addressed the concern that was brought forward at the last discussion about the name McFarland being in it. But, whatever you all decide. I just don't know that if delaying it is, I want to think about it some more, that's one thing. I'm not sure what more information I can get to you. to help inform your decision.
In my view, the only negative is the fact that the family isn't in support of it.
Yeah.
And I think we made the decision based on the family's efforts to get it changed. The pool, for example, it's not the Angie O'Donnell Pool, it's the Angie O'Donnell Aquatic Center. I think people will still call it the McFarland Pool. I think it's a wonderful honor for a person that had much to do with the success of our swim program. There were others, you know, who maybe had the same kind of impact. But I don't know how, you know, you could go about doing that kind of thing with this.
And at the same time, the thing that I, in my mind, knowing as many grads as I do, and some who have become very successful, I guess monetarily, it would seem to me, don't close that door. Don't, there's,
But what does adding McFarland close that door?
I don't know if it does. I think that's why I would like to find out. I haven't had a chance I have an email, and that's all I have. And now, this is all
So-
new to me, and I just guess in that point, I would like to just track it down a little bit, and that would be
Well-
my only question.
Well, okay, so one other consideration is that we'll have a new board at the next meeting.
Yep,
And so, someone who hasn't been involved in all of the discussions, so if we delay it, that's one consideration. If we want to table it because we need more thought, I agree, that's fine. That's a legitimate reason, but yes, I don't know if we'll get more data specific. But I guess who would be in favor of tabling this discussion until the May 6th meeting?
May 4th.
Or, okay, our next regularly scheduled board meeting.
And I just want to point out, we are so over time right now.
I know.
Well, there's not much we can do.
Or-
I think the reason I don't want to delay it is because this has been on our agenda. We've had time, I think we had time before the first one to reach out to other people and garner that feedback. We got the feedback, and this is what it is. And delaying it more delays making the name change. It delays it for the family as well, kind of this last unknown thing. And I think it's still honoring our commitment to having his name be a part of it. And I don't think the McFarland, at least from our conversation, I am not hearing someone have large concerns about it taking away and detracting from the goal. So
I don't really want to delay it either, to be honest. I don't want to spend more time and resource on it.
Yeah.
Because we've had really robust discussions about it, and I don't feel like there's any more information that I would learn, you know, unless I have a really big blind spot as to there's a negative to adding it. I don't think it takes away from Bill. I think it meets the needs of the district better than the first name. So
Okay. I move to amend the previously adopted motion naming the Performing Arts Center, the Bill Garvey Performing Arts Center, to read Bill Garvey McFarland Performing Arts Center.
I'll second.
All right.
So
Any further discussion?
does the motion, as Megan made it, are we committed to Bill Garvey McFarland Performing Arts Center or Bill Garvey Performing Arts Center McFarland? Or is this the way we were gonna do it?
It would be the Bill Garvey McFarland Performing Arts Center.
Because that maintains the consistency with what the tags are named for the chairs and the stands.
So
as
basically, we would
performed
just
in McFarland.
add an additional on
Correct.
top of it,
Yeah,
as opposed to having to replace the
Everything.
entire thing.
yeah.
No, that's,
Okay.
answers my question.
And actually, if you think about it, by doing it that way, it makes Bill Garvey stand out even more.
Yeah. Okay,
If that's what they feel. And that you guys are playing, I think, with something that you shouldn't be playing with. But
well, we have to make hard decisions.
I
with
know we
the
make hard
district.
decisions, but
That's-
it's, I'm telling you, you guys are forgetting that there's a lot of people who are,
But we're not removing Bill Garvey as the name.
I
and
understand, I
don't-
understand. My
That
feeling
just feels
is,
awfully
my feeling is,
shady there.
what you, knowing Michelle and as generous as she is, she probably would have paid for that change.
It's not.
And
we-
now you probably don't.
Well, and the other thing that's important to understand
I
is
just-
that this is a district decision
Mhm.
that is not being directed by a family,
No, I understand that,
you know?
totally.
I know this is a very emotional conversation, and I talk about this a lot, where this is a business, and we have to make business-minded decisions, you know, for the longevity of our organization. So, I mean, I really I love the Garveys. I love what Bill has done.
It doesn't
and-
negate any of that, and that's all I'm gonna say.
All right, so let's take a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Yes, opposed.
Okay, motion carries 4-1. Thank you.
I really enjoyed that spirited discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That
thank
is-
you all
I
for
think
being
that's
so
what makes us
respectful.
A board, and
Yep.
just,
Agreed.
it's not always easy.
All right, let's keep moving because we are over time quite a bit and we have guests waiting for us. Action on the McFarland Youth Center memorandum of understanding. It's really just a update. We're no longer going to take action on this. And I'll let Mr. Tenetzer share an update.
Yes,
about
as
that.
I informed the board via email, this process of looking at a funding proposal for the youth center was developed in partnership with the village, and it was really contingent upon both entities agreeing to the funding proposal, so that one entity didn't say yes and one said no. The village board voted on this last Thursday and did not support the proposed funding proposal. And as a result, there's really no reason for us to take action because our funding was contingent upon
There.
their funding.
Do you- They're not indicating that they're gonna withdraw all
No.
financial
No,
support.
No,
this
it's a
was
good
just
point.
for the additional
It was
funding
just
that
the
requested.
addition.
They're currently, yep.
Yep.
They're currently planning to maintain current funding at current levels.
Mhm.
And that's been voted on?
I mean,
It was
those
voted on
agreements,
Thursday.
yeah,
So the
and those
village says
those
no, so now
agreements
we
were already in place.
Don't even have to
I
ascertain
understand-
it.
I
Yeah.
understand that, I just was concerned that.
Nope, no
the youth
change in their
center was
funding.
gonna-
Go under?
Yeah,
No change in their funding.
Correct.
Yep,
So
and-
that, just so I understand, that means that in order to proceed through this academic year, maybe longer, they will need to use more of their reserves, is that
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Verbiage, okay.
that was
Mhm.
the sticking point?
Yes.
That's what I gathered from watching.
Yes,
what
I don't want to
happened.
speak for a village
Yeah.
board meeting or village
Right.
trustees,
I
and,
understand.
Yeah.
but yes,
Yeah,
Okay, so that's because there's not mutual agreement, they use reserves, I would assume. I mean, we can't.
we don't know what they'll
We don't
do.
know what
Okay,
We
they
don't know
will
what the youth
do.
center will do, but that,
Okay.
I mean, if they execute the plan that they presented to us,
okay,
yes, they will
correct, yes.
use more
Okay.
of their funds.
okay,
Right.
thank you.
Use up their fund balance
Okay.
sooner. Yep,
Thank you for clarifying.
okay,
Yeah,
all right.
the next steps are unclear,
That is
or
true.
unknown at this
Okay.
time.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm certain that they will be looking for new board members and active people to get involved.
Mhm.
Yeah.
if anyone's
If you
Get
know
that
someone.
fundraising going.
right? Okay, all right, so we're good there? Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on to our action on second reading and adoptions of a lot of policies that I bet Megan Chapman's gonna read for us.
All right, I got this. I move to approve the second reading and adoption of the following policies as recommended by administration. 1213, student supervision and welfare. 3213, student supervision and welfare. 4213, student supervision and welfare. 5135, student identification numbers and cards. 5136, personal communication devices. 5830, student fundraising. 6320, purchasing. 6605, crowdfunding. 6610, non-district supported student activity account. 7320, gift grants and bequests. 7540.02, digital content and accessibility. 7540.08, artificial intelligence, AI. 8462, child abuse and neglect. 9211, district support organizations. 9215, school support organizations.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll second. Oh, no, please.
All right, we're just gonna give it to Howery.
Okay, done.
All right, do we wanna, there weren't any additions that we, no, let me start over. There was one more language that we added, that we had talked about at the last meeting. Do you wanna review some of those, the quick ones? Yeah, just a highlight of the ones that we added.
The thing was there are 3 policies about supervision and welfare, and we made some adjustments for clarity about 2 things, about text messaging, staff to students, and then also for saying that staff should not friend or follow students, current students through social media.
On their school account, right?
No, I
their
think on
private account.
anything.
That's what it was.
On their private account.
Private
We
account,
talked-
yeah.
Though, there was an email back and forth about changing, I mean, I'm supportive of the change, but I don't remember what the words were. We updated we talked about it, made a recommendation, and then we updated something, or we made another recommendation. Am I thinking of the right
I thought they could
one?
talk through
was-
like
it was
G-chat or
about-
something.
No, it was about, the personal devices.
That's it.
Yeah, so like, the original language that was proposed included saying they could not use their personal devices.
Device.
And we removed that because as long as they're using a school-approved app
That's right.
to
Okay.
communicate with the student, that is acceptable, even if it's on their personal cell phone.
So to give you an example, I use a Gmail app on my phone at times
Yeah.
to communicate on my school Gmail.
Exactly.
But
Okay.
it's an
Yep.
app on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
Gmail. So
Yeah, that was,
just-
thank
yep,
you for the.
that is
Yep.
the other part. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry.
And it also includes no text messaging,
Yeah.
period. It should always be through a school-approved app, so. Okay, any other discussion on that? Alrighty, all those,
How we made the.
yep, Howard
I
seconded.
I made the motion, he second.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry, I got it backwards, sorry.
No, you're good. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Then we have action on McFarland High School early college credit and Start College Now program requests.
We got some wicked smart kids, that's all
yeah,
I'm
we
gonna say.
I know, ambitious.
Yeah.
It's great.
Love seeing all the medical ones in there, so.
A lot of
Keep it up.
psychology.
But does that cost the school district money?
Yes, it does.
I know, and that's the thing, I don't know if the public realizes that.
Approximately about a couple hundred per credit, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Is it statutorily required?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we
Yes.
can't, I
No,
mean,
no.
we can't do anything about
There-
it? That's
Yeah,
all
what,
fine.
what you'll see in the denials are really courses that are offered through
Right.
other more cost-effective
Yeah,
means,
like
including
DCA
Yeah.
and,
they're here. We
Yes.
provide those
Yeah,
courses
that's-
here.
That's good, I know that people take it
And there
seriously.
weren't denials this time, but we often see, like,
See.
we often see that because
Right.
a lot of other
There's a
times
few.
there's other options. Okay. All right, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the course approvals and denials for the early college credit and Start College Now program requests as recommended by MHS administration.
I can second.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Action on recommended WEVA DCA Insight School of Wisconsin student transfers to resident districts due to lack of engagement.
I move to approve the WEVA Destinations Career Academy and Insight School of Wisconsin recommended student transfers back to their resident districts due to lack of engagement.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion?
Handful of kindergartners. Nobody attended conference.
Yeah.
Such a bummer.
That was amazing. 70.
That's hard. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Before we get to our last exciting action item, I just want to remind the public that we do have a closed session following this last item, when Yanni McCray takes her official oath of office. And then we will be adjourning from closed session because we don't have any further action after that. So, okay, let's do the oath. Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
This is such a full meeting, and
They're not
you,
all like
Look
that.
at your
They're
future.
not.
I know.
No, they're not.
So thank you for your. Who do you want over there, Angie?
Just me, I think.
Mr. Fisher.
Boy, I think
McCray.
right in front of that would be
Do you want to hold?
ideal.
Oh, yeah, in front of the thing, yeah.
Angie, do you want to have them use that microphone?
Did we do it in front of that last year? I don't remember, it was a blur.
I can't remember mine either.
You should sit down, Yanni.
Yep.
I believe there's two ways of doing this. One is I can administer the oath, or you can read it yourself and then just sign it. I think either way works, whichever's easier for you. Or you
No
prefer.
pressure.
Your first
And
decision.
all of McFarland is watching.
Yeah.
They're in the room, it's okay.
I, Yanni McCray, having been elected or appointed to the office of school board member, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. That was excitement.
Uh-huh.
Well stated, yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome to the crazy. Just kidding. Crazy fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's official.
It is official.
Welcome.
That's right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yay, welcome.
Starting on
Thanks,
Monday.
Yanni.
We are becoming more and more women dominant on this board.
Thank you both.
Thank you for being willing to serve.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your service. Thank you in advance for your service.
And that's not an empty.
And go celebrate next
not.
Monday, because it'll be your last Monday free for a while.
We've had multiple years that no one chose to run. Over
true.
my 15, there's probably been more where no one chose to run than there was where somebody did. So your willingness to contribute in the way a school board member does is much appreciated.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, amazing. All right, well, that is exciting. I guess now.
No, great transition.
I know, it is.
don't
And now I'm
transition to
sorry
closed
we have to
session.
kick you all out because we're going to go into closed.
Do you want me to make that motion?
Yeah, if you want to.
I make a motion to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851C concerning employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The purpose is to discuss a director compensation plan.
I can second.
All right, Howery. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Fessler, aye. Howery,
Aye.
Chapman,
Aye.
Huey,
I
Fisher.
Aye.
All right.
Bye.
We are
Thank
going
you.
into closed session at 9:43. p.m.
Are we moving?
Are we moving? Yes, okay.
We're gonna go into the menopause.
Do you want us to do anything with our?
Yeah, we can put all